Hi, guys. I am so excited to be back in the classroom with you. We are going to learn how to draw a human body. We are going to learn about proportions and how to correctly draw the human body the right size. Did you know that in the human body, we can use this measurement system to help us more or less get the proportions right of the human body? Using the head of the human as a measurement system, there are about 8 heads in one entire body. That's pretty cool. So let's get started on drawing a proportional drawing of the human figure.
Okay, do you have your ruler ready? Put your ruler in the middle of the page, more or less, doesn't have to be exactly the middle, and a little bit away from the side of the top. I want you to make a little mark on the 0 of the ruler and one on the 24. We're going to do a bit of math here. I want to create 8 heads that are each 3 centimeters along the length of my page. So 8 times 3 centimeter sections. So 8 times 3 gives me 24. That is why I'm going to make a little line at the 24. Now I'm going to count with every 3 centimeters and make a little line. So let's count in threes. 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21, and there we go, 24. Remember, do not press too hard. Light line so you can erase easily. Now make a little light line all the way down from the 0 to the 24. Do you have the same? Great. Let's move on. We're gonna now start with the head. At the top, I'm going to make a little, almost like a teardrop shape. Half a moon here and half a moon on the other side. Just making little dotted lines to see if that is where I want it to be, and then I can now darken my lines when I'm happy with it. Doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, this is our practice drawing. That looks good. All right, now about a quarter of the head. So if I have to, I'm just gonna guess 1, 2, 3, about this much. That will be the neck. The neck will end here somewhere. So I'm gonna make a little dot, and then just below it will be where my shoulders will be, my chest and my shoulders. The shoulders will be 2.5 of the heads. So let's see, how big did I do the head? That is about 2.5. So now I have to do some more math. So 2.5 plus 2.5 equals, how much is that? 5. 5, and I'm just going to make it half of 2. It doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm gonna say 1, so plus 1 will be 6 centimeters. So I need to make the total width of my shoulder 6 centimeters. So I'm going to put the 3 there on the line, and then make a little mark on the 0 and a mark on the 6, and that should be my shoulders. That looks pretty good. So I'm gonna make 2 little circles to create the illusion of the joints in the shoulders. So, and there you can just make 2 lines to create the idea of the shoulders. If you want, you can now draw in the neck. That looks pretty correct. That looks right. Okay, now I'm going to go and I'm going to See, remember this is our second line, third line, fourth. At the fourth line, that is where you'll do a little circle. That will be your belly button. We're just gonna make a little triangle shape from the belly button to the shoulders to create the torso. And now the next line, this is where your hips will be. So I'm going to make them a little bit narrower. We said our shoulders were 6 centimeters, so I'm going to make the hips 4. So 2 on each side, 2 centimeters this side, 2 centimeters that side. And make 2 little dots where the hips are. Now I'm gonna draw from the belly button to the hips, another triangle. See? The knees will be 2 lines down from there. So over here, I am going to draw just a light dotted line to see where my knees will go. And I'm going to use my ruler from the hips and just make a straight line down and make a little circle where the knee will be. And the same on the other side. And with my free hand, I'm just going to do the bottom line. That will be the legs, the shins. And there will be my ankles and my feet, or my heels and my liney feet. There's my little figure. And now also just with my free hand, maybe I'll just make sure that I get this right. I'm gonna make a little dotted line again where the belly button is, just across to see. I'm gonna make my arms go a little bit wider. So over here, I'm gonna make a line up until where I drew the line just now, and then make a little circle for my elbows. I'm gonna do the same on this side. There will be my elbows. And then just below the hip will be the rest of my arm. Where the hip is will be the wrist, and then the hand can be another line. There's your figure, all in the correct portions, more or less. If you want now, you can actually create a little body for it. So let's just make a Keith Haring style, very simplistic figure using a bubble shape around the figure. Just a bubbly shape. Okay, here I'm going to make bubbly hands, and then I am going to make bubbly arms. You can really just do it with your free hand. It doesn't have to be perfect. You just want to make it kind of like a Keith Haring style bubbly person. And there we go, all in proportion.
Okay, so now that we've practiced drawing the human figure using the human head as a measurement system, we are going to challenge ourselves a little bit more by trying to draw a figure that moves using the same measurement system. We are inspired by the artist Keith Haring. So even though he drew very abstract little figures, what is interesting about his work is that they were very proportionate. So we're going to try and do the same. But before we draw this, I want you to think about some of the themes that we can choose from to draw our own artwork. This is going to be for our final artwork. So, do you want peace and love to be your theme? Or joy and freedom? Or loneliness and captivity? So if you are an extrovert and you have been very heavily affected by being indoors and not being able to see your friends, then maybe loneliness and captivity will be your theme. Or if you're really at peace, maybe peace and love will be your theme. So think about that, and then choose a figure that you think will best represent that theme. So we're not going to do our final drawing just yet. We're just going to continue practicing the figure using the proportion method that we learned about to create these little figures that are moving. So go ahead and practice. Here is an example of one that I did.